Dipti is here with the papers. Donald Trump, once again, right at the top of the paper review.
It's a story that keeps on giving, Stuart. It's becoming very ugly, this whole clash between Donald Trump and the parents of a dead U.S. soldier that's actually portraying Trump in a very unfavorable light. According to the Washington Post, Republicans denounced Trump. That's what the Post is reporting. The Republican presidential candidate, of course, clashed with Khizr and Ghazala Khan, Muslim Americans whose soldier died in Iraq. Now, the parents spoke at the Democrats' National Convention last week and lashed out at Trump, particularly over his proposal to keep Muslims out of the U.S. Now, Trump reacted rather cruelly to this criticism, comparing his own, quote, sacrifice to that of the one made by Captain Khan. Now, the Post reports that even this has sort of created a lot of division even within the Republican Party. Some of Trump's supporters have called it disrespectful, unprecedented, and they've also sort of reproached him for not being able to take some criticism.
Now, for the website Vox, this really shows up Donald Trump's weakness, doesn't it?
Well, Vox describes Trump as, quote, a man so angry about being cut off in traffic that he crashes his own car in revenge. I think that really sums it up. Basically, the news website says instead of moving on, he's just feeding the Democrats' sort of presence on the news cycle. It's also exposed some very undesirable qualities in Trump, how easily baited he is, his sort of surging ego, and the schoolyard bully tactics that he's willing to use, which Vox says represents the dangerous mindset for a president.
You found a piece in the New York Times, haven't you, which is very, very hard on Trump from one writer.
Well, this piece underlines perhaps Donald Trump and the Republican Party's greatest weakness. It's their lack of knowledge. It's hard to know, I quote, when the Republican Party assumed the mantle of the stupid party, but it was largely a show until now, at least. That's what the author Max Boot says in the New York Times. There's no evidence, he says, that the Republican Party is dumber than the Democrats. But Trump, who doesn't know the difference between Quds and Kurds, had never heard of Brexit before the vote, and uses the vocabulary of a fifth grader, is even proud of this lack of learning. So the writer says even if we avoid a Trump presidency, the GOP is in for some really deep soul-searching, because Trump, after all, is as much the symptom as he is the cause.
Let's move on to another big story. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan continuing his purges there.
Well, we're looking at the German papers this morning, who are, of course, reporting on tens of thousands of pro-Erdogan supporters turning out in Cologne in Germany yesterday. Now, Cologne, of course, was the site of mass sexual attacks on New Year's Eve. Its mayor, Cologne's mayor, she was also shot during local elections over the city's stance on asylum seekers, sort of taking in more asylum seekers. So it's a very symbolic city to be chosen for this protest. Now, despite some counter-protests, the pro-Erdogan demonstration was relatively peaceful. That's what this local paper says. But organizers did stress that this was a pro-democracy party and not one in favor of Erdogan. And protesters were, though, upset that the Turkish president wasn't allowed to speak via video link as had been planned.
Now, positive sounding story for you now from Japan, Tokyo, getting its first female governor. She's going to have her work cut out for her, though, isn't she?
Well, according to a local Japanese paper, Yuriko Koike won by a wide margin without endorsement from the ruling Liberal Democratic Party to which she used to belong. Now, it's the first gubernatorial election since 1999 in which there was more than at least two candidates from the ruling LDP party. Now, the last two governors were forced to quit over money corruption scandals. Now, Koike, who actually once compared herself to Hillary Clinton, interestingly, will be tackling Olympic-sized tasks. That's what the Washington Post says. That'll include Tokyo's preparation for the 2020 Summer Olympics that are already marred by corruption and plagiarism. Most importantly, she'll sort of have to find a way to rein in the costs at a time when Japan's economy is stagnant.
So those more imminent Olympic Games then, those in Rio, of course, been marred by various allegations. Olympic Committee Chief Thomas Bach giving his first press conference ahead of the Games, trying to play down those tensions, wasn't he?
play down, but he did admit there are cash flow problems. That's what he told reporters in a press conference in Rio yesterday. According to this Brazilian paper, the Rio 2016 committee are still unable to close their accounts and are in the red by $250 million. Despite this, the IOC chief said that everything is progressing smoothly and that there's a real positive vibe around the village. He also said that the games will take place a la Brazil. When asked what he meant by that, he said the games would take place with, quote, passion. So I think we can all agree that's something that the Brazilians are not lacking, Stuart.
I think that is very true. A lot of passion I'm sure there's going to be at the Olympics. Countdown is well and truly on. 4 days to go. Thank you, Dipti. Thank you to Steve.